Hi, it's Mrs. Ferris from Wood Library, and today we're going to have some stories about building. I've got my friend, a construction worker here. He's got his tool belt on with his screwdriver, his hammer, and of course he's got his hard hat on. All workers want to wear those. So let's get to our first story. It's called The House in the Woods. It's written by Inga, and she also did the pictures, and it's published by Candlewick Press. A little pig had made a den for herself in the woods. And next door, another little pig had made himself a hut. One morning, the two little pigs went out walking together. One little pig found a feather, and the other found an interesting stick. But when the first little pig brought her feather home to her den, she discovered that Bear had moved in, which she didn't really mind because she liked Bear. But Bear was so big that, oh dear, the den was wrecked. And when the second little pig went home to his hut with his stick, he discovered that Moose had moved in, which he didn't mind either because he liked Moose. But Moose was even bigger than Bear, and when he stood up politely to say good morning, crash, the hut was also wrecked, which left the two little pigs with nowhere to live, not to mention Moose and Bear. This was a pickle. It really was. And then Moose had a brilliant idea. Why not build a big house where they all could live together? Well, that was a good idea. Except that building a big house with real windows and doors, a roof and stairs and chimney stacks isn't easy. They couldn't do it on their own. So Moose called the beavers on the telephone. And soon afterward, a team of beaver builders came to help them. The beavers said they wished to be paid in peanut butter sandwiches. No one had any objection. So they felled the timber. And that means they cut down the trees. And the work began. And by lunchtime, the walls of the house were up. And by dinner time, the roof was on, although the lunch and dinner were on different days, of course. Beavers are fast, but not that fast. Bear made the staircases and chimney stacks, while Moose fitted the windows and doors. And then they both went with the two little pigs to the junkyard for furniture and curtains and all the other things that go inside a house. They really loaded up. At last, the house was finished. The beavers handed over their bill and left, and there was just enough time to get to the store. What do you think they're going to buy? I know. They had to buy the bread and peanut butter. And then the little pigs helped Moose and Bear make 6 plates of peanut butter sandwiches, which they delivered in person to the beavers, who had all gone back to their lodge on the lake. Pretty nice lodge. Well, it had been a busy time for the little pigs and Moose and Bear. They had worked hard. Had it been worth it? Well, what do you think? Just look. What a beautiful new house they have. Bear went to bed first because she was so tired. And after they had finished their supper and washed the dishes and told stories for a while around the fire, Moose and the two little pigs climbed the stairs to bed. And soon, the only sounds to be heard were the soft cheeps of sleepy birds roosting in the rafters, the tiny rustling of wood mice in the fallen leaves outside, and just now and then, the gentle snoring of Bear. Good night, Bear. Good night, Moose. Good night, little pigs. And that's A House in the Woods. Nice cooperation, don't you think? Well, should we do a finger play? Which one would you like to do? Maybe we could have pigs jumping on our bed today. Get them ready. I've got 5 little pigs who were jumping on the bed when one fell off and he bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more little pigs jumping on the bed." So hide one away. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 little pigs were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more little pigs jumping on the bed." So 3 little pigs were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more little pigs jumping on the bed." So 2 little pigs were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more little pigs jumping on the bed." So that leaves 1 little pig who was jumping on the bed. When she fell off, she bumped her head. So her mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more little pigs jumping on the bed." So there are no more little pigs, but we have another story here. It doesn't have a pig in it. It has a sheep. Now I'm sure you've heard the song, "Old Macdonald Had a Farm." Well, this is a twist on that. This is called Old Macdonald Had a Woodshop. And look at all those tools. We already saw a hammer on our puppet and a screwdriver, but there are lots of tools here. This is a book by Lisa Shulman with pictures by Ashley Wolf, and it's published by G.P. Putnam's and Son. And there's the sheep making some plans. And guess what? It's a singing story. Old MacDonald had a shop, E-I-E-I-O. And in her shop she had a saw, E-I-E-I-O. What kind of sound do you think a saw makes? We're gonna go zit, 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 zit. With a zit, zit here and a zit, zit there. Here a zit, there a zit, everywhere a zit, zit. Old MacDonald had a shop, E-I-E-I-O. And in her shop she had a drill, E-I-E-I-O. And the drill makes the sound rrr, rrr, with a rrr, rrr here and a rrr, rrr there, and a zit, zit here and a zit, zit there. Here is it, there is it, everywhere is it, zit. Old MacDonald had a shop, E-I-E-I-O. And in her shop she had a hammer, E-I-E-I-O. What does a hammer do? Well, it hammers. We use it as a verb too, but we're gonna tap, tap. So can you tap, tap with your finger? With a tap, tap here and a tap, tap there, and a rrr, rrr here and a rrr, rrr there, and a zit, zit here and a zit, zit there. Here is it, there is it, everywhere is it, zit. Old MacDonald had a shop, E-I-E-I-O. And in her shop she had a chisel, E-I-E-I-O. They use a chisel on wood to carve out parts of it. And so she's going to be chipping away with chip, chip, okay? With a chip, chip here and a chip, chip there. Here a chip, there a chip, everywhere a chip, chip. Tap, tap here and a tap, tap there. A rrr, rrr here and a rrr, rrr there. A zit, zit here and a zit, zit there. Here is it, there is it, everywhere is it, zit. Old MacDonald had a shop, E-I-E-I-O. And in her shop she had a file. Some of you may have nail files at home to take off rough edges on your fingernails, and this is a rough tool that you use to take sharp edges off of pieces of wood. So she's just going to be using it up here. With a scritch, scritch here and a scritch, scritch there, a chip, chip here and a chip, chip there, a tap, tap here and a tap, tap there, a rrt, rrt here and a rrt, rrt there, and a zit, zit here and a zit, zit there. Here is it, there is it, everywhere is it, zit. Old Macdonald had a shop, E-I-E-I-O. And in her shop she had a screwdriver, E-I-E-I-O. And you know what you do with a screwdriver? You screw in screws. Makes sense, right? And it might be a little squeaky as the screws go into the wood. With a squeak, squeak here and a squeak, squeak there, and a scritch, scratch here and a scritch, scratch there, and a chip, chip here and a chip, chip there, and a tap, tap here and a tap, tap there, and a rrr, rrr here and a rrr, rrr there, and a zit, zit here and a zit, zit there. Here is it, there is it, everywhere is it, zit. Old Macdonald had a shop, E-I-E-I-O. And in her shop she had a paintbrush, E-I-E-I-O. And our paintbrush is going to go swish, swish. With a swish, swash here and a swish, swash there. A squeak, squeak here and a squeak, squeak there. A scritch, scratch here and a scritch, scratch there. A chip, chip here and a chip, chip there. A tap, tap here and a tap, tap there. A rrr, rrr here and a rrr, rrr there. A zit, zat here and a zit, zit here, there. Here is it, there is it, everywhere is it, zit. Old Macdonald had a shop, E-I-E-I-O. Now what do you think is under this blanket? I think it's what they made. Do you have any idea what they were making? With all those tools? I think we ought to look and see. And in her shop, she had a farm. That's what they were making. And it's only right, because we all know that old Macdonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. If you're ever wondering, there's old Macdonald's tool bench, very well kept, and all of the tools are hanging up with their names on them. Pretty neat. Well, can you get ready to shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out, and wiggle your waggles away. And can you clap, clap, clap your crazies out, clap, clap, clap your crazies out, clap, clap, clap your crazies out, and wiggle your waggles away. Can you stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out, stretch, stretch. Ooh, I'm almost disappearing. Stretch your stretchies out, stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out, and wiggle your waggles away. Can you stand up? Because it's time to jump. Can you jump, jump, jump your jiggles out, jump, jump, jump your jiggles out, jump, jump, jump your jiggles out, and wiggle your waggles away. Can you yawn? Yawn your sleepies out, yawn. Yawn your sleepies out, yawn. Yawn your sleepies out, and wiggle your waggles away. Can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out, and wiggle your waggles away. Well, our next story is called Bunny Built. It's written and illustrated by Michael Slack. And it's published by Henry Holt and Company. Christie Ottaviano books. Now, LaRue was the handiest bunny in Westmore Oaks. He had everything an industrious bunny could ever need. He's got a very neat tool rack too, doesn't he? He had everything except carrots. He checked all of his usual hiding spots. None in the pocket, none in the cookie jar, none in the watering can. He was completely out. So off he went to find some. He stopped to ask Stella, "Do you have any carrots?" "Oh, I'm afraid not. They were swept away when the wind blew down my house." Then he stopped to ask Neville, "Do you have any carrots?" "Nope. They were in my boat, but it sank." He stopped by to ask Ivy, "Do you have any carrots?" "Oh, sorry, LaRue, no carrots." "What happened to your table?" Neville asked Ivy. "I gave it to Beaver. He needed wood to fix his dam, but I found this beautiful rock to sit on." "That is not a rock. It smells like carrots." "Maybe it's a seed," LaRue said. Well, everyone chuckled. Everyone had an idea. "You can have it," they said. "You can have it, LaRue." Then LaRue's friends helped him load the orange ball into his dump truck. And when he got home, LaRue went straight to work. He dug, he dumped, he dozed, and he doused. That meant he watered it. And then he waited. Wow. And then he brought in the heavy equipment. The crane creaked, and the pulleys pulled, and the ground shook, and another one of these books, out popped an enormous carrot. It was huge, wasn't it? Wow. Whoa! Well, what should I do with all that carrot? Asked LaRue. And everyone had an idea. But LaRue's idea was the best. Some thought they should turn it into carrot juice. Some thought maybe carrot popsicles. Or maybe carrot cake. But that's not what LaRue did. After his friends left, LaRue heaved the carrot into the mill, and he buzzed and whirred, cutting the enormous carrot into lumber, long sticks of wood. And then LaRue put on his tool belt and went straight to work. First, he built a house. And then a boat. And at last, a table. He loaded them onto his big rig and off he went. Toot, toot. LaRue stopped to see Ivy and gave her the table. And Neville, the boat, and Stella, a new house. And then LaRue found a peaceful spot to eat the last tiny piece of that enormous carrot. It tasted delicious. That was nice. He got something for himself and all three of his friends from that one enormous carrot. Well, shall we do our hot dog song? I've got 5 little hot dogs that are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So 4 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 3 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 2 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So now 1 little hot dog is cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the one went bam. So now no little hot dogs are cooking in the pan, but the grease got hot and the pan went bam. Well, our last story is called The 3 Pig Sisters. Have you heard a story about 3 little pigs? So did they. This is a book by Cecil Kim with illustrations by Kuhn Park, and it is published by Norwood House Press. I think all the pigs are there. I see 1, 2, 3. Now the 3 pig sisters were ready to leave home. They would make a new house in the woods. Their mother worried about them. Oh, my dears, have you heard the story of the 3 pigs and the big bad wolf? Make sure you build solid houses to keep you safe from wolves. The sisters thought about their mother's words. The oldest sister said, "You know, those pigs made a mistake. They built 3 different houses." The middle sister said, "If we work together, we can make one very strong house for all of us." "You are so right," said the youngest sister. So the next morning, the 3 sisters left home. Tears streamed from their mother's eyes, and she mopped her face with her apron. "Oh, do be careful, dear children," she said. "Don't worry, Mother," they told her. "We will build a very strong house, and we will defeat any wolf who comes our way." Now, when the sisters arrived in the woods, they found a place to build their house, and they divided the work 3 ways. "I'll clear the ground for our home," said the oldest sister. "And I'll get logs from the woods," said the middle sister. "And I'll make the bricks," said the youngest sister. Now, while the oldest pig cleared the ground, the middle pig went to get logs, and on the way she saw some tasty berries, and she decided to eat a few. In order to make the bricks, the youngest pig needed water, and near the stream she found some berries, and she decided to eat a few. But the 2 sisters didn't know that the berries were sleeping berries, and soon the 2 pigs were fast asleep. The wolf, who'd been watching, rubbed his paws together. "Ha ha ha! It's been a long time since I last ate, and those 2 pigs look delicious." Well, at that moment, the oldest pig called, "Sisters, sisters, where are you?" The wolf left the sleeping pigs and ran off to hide. The oldest pig woke her sisters. "Why aren't you working?" she asked. "Oh, we ate some red berries," they said, "and we fell asleep." The oldest pig sniffed at the berries, and then she saw the wolf's footprints. "Oh, a wolf!" she cried. "Oh, hurry, sisters, we must work together and build our strong house." So the 3 sisters worked hard, cutting down trees and making bricks, and they set up strong wooden pillars, and they built strong brick walls, and they made doors and windows and a shiny red roof. They had a beautiful, strong house. But the 3 pig sisters had one more job to do. They had to take care of the big bad wolf, so they made a pot of soup and opened the windows. How do you think that smelled? Well, the hungry wolf sniffed the air. A delicious smell came from the pig's house, but the house was too strong to blow down. The wolf had to find another way. He remembered the trouble he'd had getting down the chimney of another pig's house, so he would have to break their door down. The wolf ran at the door, but it was already open, and he fell right into the house. Crash! Why is it so dark? He wondered. And then he heard voices. I'll get his front legs together and tie them. I'll tie his back legs together. I'll feed him sleeping berries. You know who's talking, don't you? The pigs, yes. And when the wolf woke up, he was tied tightly to a chair. Shall we drop him down a well? Asked the oldest pig sister. No, no, cried the wolf. Oh, please don't. I only bothered you because I'm hungry. An old wolf like me can't hunt for food. Well, what would the pig sisters do? They decided to work with the wolf, to make a farm on their land. The oldest pig grew corn, the middle pig grew potatoes, and the youngest pig grew apple trees with sweet, juicy apples. And what did the wolf do? Why, he weeded the gardens and looked after the chickens. Food filled the table in the strong house. It's great to work together, said the wolf to the three pig sisters. And what he said was indeed true. And they all lived and worked together happily for a long, long time. So it just shows that with a little bit of cooperation, you can get a lot done. Well, are you ready for something on the flannel board? Let's first wiggle our fingers and wiggle our toes and wiggle our shoulders. And how about your nose? Can you wiggle your elbows and slap your knees and then stretch your arms and get ready, please, for our flannel board. Now let me put it up there. Well, once there was a little red house. And in the little red house, there was what do you see? A little greenhouse. And in the little greenhouse, there was, what color do you see? A little yellow house. And in the little yellow house, there was a little brown house. And in the little brown house, there was, this one's going to be hard to see. You can see the doorknob. A little blue house. And in the little blue house, there was a little purple house. And in the little purple house, there was a little orange house. And in the little orange house, there was, do you think there's something there? A little white house. And in the little white house, there was you. Kiss, kiss. And those are our building stories for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope that you'll come back and join us for Storytime another week. See you then. Bye-bye.